Haribol, can everybody hear online?
Hare Krishna.
Haribol, Haribol. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. We got a lot of things to cover. Hey, Sri Guru Janada Swami Madhata Karuna Kasandhu Vandava Sinagata Prasida Sridhara Pranaya Vishara Ajanurambita Buddha Kanaka Vadata Saiki Tunaka Pitaro Kamya Taksha Vishwambaro Dviguru Vidama Palo Bandi Jigatya Karana Avataro Ananda Nirmaya Vigrahaya Himanda Varsha Vishwandaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Shapadaya Shri Chaitanya Chandra Namaste Kaskuritina Kamalata Patale Vaksana Kostamana Sabriva Rotikam Karatare Venu Karatam Karam Sava Angahari Chandanam Suraditam Kantanaptavali Rajaskiyo Parivisitam Vijayate Gopala Churumani Eshi Shamashandara Shikara Shekara Smiraha Sumini Manohara Nariparasika Mama Kripanari Supriya Chana Kinkarum Turu
Recording in progress.
Vai Vasmi Najivani Twayavina Iti Vidyava Dekam Naimam Chana Yutikam Yakin Kreshu Vasa Kalita Kavani Nitya Parasha Purusha Shishaka Kanaka Janadagat Nila Sobhagya Netro Vigumara Varavaro Maratiko Vigumaro Taruna Taruna Vesho Nilampitam Varesho Svanana Putru Kanjera Rito Krishna Chandro Vanchakam Putru Visha Kripasundu Devacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gauri Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dharma Pranam devotees, also devotees online. So for the devotees who are on the Zoom, just make sure your phone is muted, because other than that it'll bleed out over the whole microphone and everything else. So today there are a number of things to discuss. Of course, today is the first day of Caturmasya. For us, Caturmasya can begin either on the Shayani Ekadasi that just passed, or for us it's beginning today on the Purnima. Right. It also can begin on Asana, so just in our mat, everything it begins on this Purnima. Right? So of course Caturmasya is very important in that it is an opportunity, like anything will be Janmashtami, Radhastami, Gaurapanim, Ekadasi Vrat, to make a Vrat means like a vow. But the vow is not in the externals. So it's not that we won't take green leafy vegetables this month, yoga then milk then dal. It's not then doing a go-grass. Go-grass, you know what I mean? Go-grass is like, there are some people during the Caturmasya, and previously it was done, where they take only enough food that can fit on like a leaf. They put that on the ground, and they eat without hands by whatever they can pick up from their mouth. And they do that once a day. It's called go-grass. Right? So there's so many things that you can do during the Caturmasya. So of course for sannyasis, brahmacharis, there's no shaving, no cutting of the hair, etc., etc. So there's so many things that you can do which are part of the external features. Of course, throughout the whole 4 months, many devotees, we don't take tomatoes or eggplant, loki, and many other things. But the essential thing of the brat is just like in a relationship of love, the essential ingredient in Valentine's Day, Anniversary Day, is the expression of the bhav itself, the love itself. So the externals are you gave flowers, or you gave a card and you said happy anniversary, but the essential ingredient is the bhav. So these 4 months, at which time in India, especially sadhus used to not travel so much, so they would take this time to deepen their southern bhajan, and by the deepening of their sudden bhajan, their internal mood grows. So this is the real essential thing of the brat. So Caturmasya is not the externals, but it's the mood. So if the mood becomes lost in the externals, then you're losing Caturmasya. You understand what I'm saying? Because, and I'll talk about this a little bit later on when I speak about Sanatan Goswami. The ahamkar is a very amazing thing. You think the soul is amazing, the ahamkar is more amazing. Because the ahamkar, it has all kinds of super capabilities. And one capability it has is that even when you come into the realm of bhakti, it doesn't immediately go away. So the ahamkara follows you into the path, and it seeks out its sustenance now within the realm of the things in bhakti. So what begins to happen, if you take a vow to do something Caturmasya, then the ahamkara says, okay, we can do that. And then you start practicing, and then what happens is he calls his best friend Pratishta. And he says, hey, we got something going on here. They're not eating, they're not sleeping, not doing this. Would you jump on this? So then the ahamkara and Pratishta get together, and they jump on it, and they start feeding you. You're very powerful. Just see. You are so austere. A high class of Vaishnavi. Understand? So in order to avoid that, it has to be dominated by some mood in bhakti. Right? It has to be dominated by some mood in bhakti. Depending on the maturation of the devotee, then it will be expressed either from the genuine sambandha gyan you have, or it should be expressed in aspiration. In aspiration means, I may not, and there are different levels of sambandha gyan, we'll talk about it a little bit later, we'll talk about that in relation to Sanatan Goswami. But still, there should be an idea, aspirationally, I want love of God, I want Radha Dasya. So the dominance of the mood of everything you do should be the offering to that aspiration. Understand? If you have somebody again genuinely, either Samanya Sambandha Gyan, you're clear how you're the Dasa Krishna, or you say Sambandha Gyan, you have something of your own internal identity, then you can operate from that platform. If not, from the aspirational platform, I want to have Radha Dasya. I want to have pure praying for Shri Radha Krishna Yoga and Mahaprabhu. And all of your activities during the Caturmasya will be offered to that aspiration. You understand? Then there's a relational value to it. If it's not, then this is the warning, actually the warning of Rupa Goswami Pad, Rupa Deshamritam, about Niyamagraha is this. If the practice becomes anustanic or ritualistic, then it gives facility to ahamkara and pratishta to come together to gobble it up. You understand? If it doesn't stay within some category, as aspirational, samanya sambandha gyan, or if you say sambandha gyan, your practice, then your ahamkara and pratishta will gobble it up. And it will simply turn into another kind of designation you have. That devotee so austere. Just watch them during Caturmasya. They don't eat, they don't sleep, they don't. And then they'll feed. And the conflation of bhakti with so many things. One of the deeper meanings of the word Sangha Siddhi Bhakti. Does everybody know what Sangha Siddhi Bhakti is? Yeah and nay.
In the association of the bodies.
No, Sangha Siddhi Bhakti means there's Swarup Siddhi Bhakti, Arop Siddhi Bhakti, and Sangha Siddhi Bhakti. Sangha Siddhi Bhakti means to associate with things which have some relation to bhakti. Ekadasi Vrata, Janmashtami, any Vaishnava Tithi. So these things are all favorable to bhakti. So they have association with bhakti. But if the mood in relation to the things becomes corrupted, it becomes problematic. And one of the ways that happens is when those things are done with niyamagraha, means just ritualistically. For that matter, everything we do, from Mangalarti in the morning to your Swadhyaya, means your personal study, to Gorarti, to serving Thakurji, to cooking, anything you do that's ritualistic, then the bhav, the essential mood in that thing is gone. So bhav is not only expressed in the stage of bhav, but it's expressed in the various levels of maturation of devotee. So one of the first expressions is the aspirational expression. I want to have this. Right? Just like if you want to, giving mundane example, if you have any attraction towards some man or some woman, then you do all of the dating protocols. Right? And in the dating protocols, you buy flowers, you show up on time, you do this and that. What happens later on, who knows? But anyway, You go through all the protocols, right? And that is a show of a mood. You understand? That's the show of a certain kind of feeling you have. You understand? So the same thing in our relationship to Bhakti in general. Aspirationally, I want to love Krishna. These are all of the things that are showing that kind of love. If those things stay connected to that mood, then the Caturmasya becomes very powerful. So then you can make certain vows, right? Like I will study a particular sastra along with everything else, right? Because now when sadhus are not traveling, then there's more time that's available, right? Of course, that's not directly a translation to necessarily our Western paradigm, right? But we can still take vows to increase our use of time. So I may say I'm going to take a deep study of Sandarbhas, I'm going to take a deep study of Rasa Sudhini, deep study of Bhagavad Gita, deep study of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Any sastra, I'm going to add that to my vows, and every day during my swadhyaya, I'm going to give a certain amount of time, energy, and deep concentration to that sastra. And every day that means I'm going to have to pray to the author of that sastra. I'm going to have to pray to the lotus feet of my Guru Padma to become deeply absorbed in the things which are stated here. And beg for the rahasya and the dhyan. So the rahasya of something means the mystery that's there. And the dhwani means the echo of all of those mysteries. And I'm going to pray for the dhyan, the ability to translate that into a meditation for me. You understand? So we're going to pray like that to that particular sastra, whatever it is you're going to study for these 4 months. You understand? So this way, the mood and the activities of the Vrata, they have some synthesis. If not, then it becomes, and then what happens also too, is the inability to keep the Vrata. You understand? Inability to keep the Vrata, because then you start to get worn, okay, I've been doing this for 2 or 3 months, you know, I can't keep on doing this, and so it gets lost. You understand? The other thing is, if you have any health problems, so forth, so on, then osadi, like on Ekadasi, milk, fruit, osadi means medicines. Then if you need it, because there was one person who wrote me once, and it was a lady whose husband, he didn't want to take his medicines. This was on an Ekadasi, because the medicine had some composition, they're following Gaudiya Ekadasi, it's composed of some leaves and herbs and stuff like that. And so he didn't want to take the medicine. So she was asking how to convince him, and so I gave the Praman from Sastra, osadi is excluded on Ekadasi. Understand? So if you need to take a particular medicine, then you should do that. Same with Caturmasya. If there's some health protocol you need to take during that time, you should not neglect that just to do the Vrata. Right? Because your health is also an offering to Bhagavan. Everything belongs to Bhagavan. Right? Your health also is Bhagavan. So you don't have the right to neglect your health, right, in order to, because this is when Ahamkar and Pratishta join in. We're going to take the fruit of this Vrata, right? So, wow, he didn't even take his medicine. Now, they say he's going to die in 3 days. But anyway, he was so austere. You understand? So, we don't want that kind of situation. Right? For as long as you can maintain your life in the service of Hari Guru and Vaishnava, it is also savable. So today also for devotees, especially online, and Parvati, I'm asking you, as I ask for so many things, Vrindavana and Ganga, you can also help with this, to make sure all of the devotees there, they have the list of what should be taken and what should not be taken during Caturmasya. So if you need me to send it to you after the class, then when I get back in the house, I'll send you that thing. It should be there online. I think. So all the things.
Yeah, for sure.
Huh?
Purebhakti.com.
On purebhakti.com. I have the list also, and I'll send it to you. Parvati, if you need it, and Vrindavana. So if you all need it, then you can give the other. I don't see everybody online, so many people are missing. Right? So you can give to the others. All right. So
Yes, I have the list.
Okay. All right. So make sure. I don't know. Maybe Bhakti Lata, others maybe they're coming on a little bit later. I don't know. But anyway, just make sure everybody gets that list. All right. So today is also Guru Purnima, or Vyas Puja, or Vyas Purnima. So how many manifestations of Vyas are there? Vyas is one person, so don't mistake my question. But how many manifestations of Vyas are there?
Unlimited?
Unlimited.
Huh?
Unlimited. Like,
Not really unlimited, but yes. So let me explain because I don't want to trick questions
is
here.
that 3?
Huh?
Is that 3?
That's getting close.
5.
That's not Jeopardy. Okay, so there is Itihas or historical Vyas. That Vyasadeva, who is the son of Parasar Muni by Satyavati, and who also is the father of Pandu, Dhritarashtra, and Vidura, right? And who is a great sage. And if you read Mahabharata, Itihas, anything, that Vyasa is discussed there. The same person. There is also Siddhanta Vichar Vyas. So Siddhanta Vichar Vyas means, Gurudev has explained the word Vyas in Sanskrit means diameter, or like circumference. So if you took a circle and you drew a circle, and you took a line from one point in that circle, and you drew a line from any point on that circle, and you go through the middle of that circle to a point on the other side, that crossing through the center from any point in the circle, that is called Vyas. The idea, the vichar, the conception here, is that everything to any perimeter always has to have back relation to the center, which is God. Understand? So the whole conception of Sambandha Gyan is also embedded in that idea. You understand? That there is nothing but God. Because the idea here is that you cannot draw a line, accurate line, a straight line, from one point in the circle to the other without going through the center. Right? So you could say, no, I'm going to draw the line just on the top, but that's not actually the meaning of Vyas. It means to go from one point directly across the center to the other. You understand? So everything has to intersect in the center. That conception of everything being related to God is the very conception of Vyas. So Siddhanta Vichar Vyas is one other aspect of Vyas. Another aspect of Vyas is called Vedanta Krit Vyas. So what is Vedanta Krit Vyas?
Compiler of
Veda Ischai Savara Hameva Vejo Vedanta Vid Veda Krit Eva Chaham. In Bhagavad Gita is mentioned, by all the Vedas I am to be known. The object of the Vedas is mentioned, Vasudev Para Veda. The object of the Vedas is to know what is Vasudeva, the superlative category of Vasudeva is Shri Krishna, especially in Braj. So the superlative category of understanding Krishna is to have Krishna praying. That's a superlative category of understanding Krishna. Understand? So, Krishna is in praying, he is called the what? Something Jatiya. Vishaya Jatiya. So Krishna is the Vishaya Jatiya, so that's mentioned. So, by all the Vedas I am to be known. He's the object of praying, so therefore he's Vishaya. I'm also the knower of the Vedas. So, how is Krishna the knower of himself? Even before that, how will we get to Mahaprabhu? Shri Radha Achai Eki Sarup Devarasa Sudete Dhari Duryu. Who is Srimati Radhika? Is she different from Krishna? No, they are one Swarup. They've taken two forms eternally for Lila, Rasa, Aswada, the ability to taste Ras in various pastimes. But Radhika is also Bhagavan. She's Asraya Bhagavan. She's not something like a devotee. When we first used to try to understand what was Radhika, they used to tell she's the greatest devotee of Krishna. She's in the verse Aradyo Bhagavan Brajesha. Aradyo Bhagavan is Radhika, actually. She's a personification of Bhagavan as worship of Bhagavan. That category is called Asraya Jatiya. So the knower of the Vedas means the category of Asraya Jatiya. But a third category is also mentioned. Vedanta Krit, Chitananda Prabhu mentioned, who compiled the Veda. Understand? So why is that category mentioned separately? You understand? Why did I get this for me?
It's for you.
I give it to Prabhuji. It's better to give him. He's more senior. I feel better. I feel better. So Vedanta Krit means who's compiled the Vedas. But now the interesting conversation comes up. What does that mean? From what angle of vision did he compile everything? This gives rise to the question that Parvati asked to Mahadev. What is the status of Vyasadeva? What is his situation? And then Mahadev gave the answer. Aham Vedmi. I know the purpose of the Vedas. Sukhuhedi. He knows. Vyasaveti na Vetiva. I don't know whether Vyas knows or not. How can you say you don't know if Vyasadeva is a compiler of the Vedas, whether he knows the meaning of the Veda or not? Oh, Haribo, Haribo, your good husband went to park.
He is parking.
Okay. How can you say, because if he's compiled Ved, how could he not know what is Ved? So this Vedantic Krit means the position of Vyasadeva prior to Narada Samvad. You understand? Because he's saying, I know the purpose of the Veda. Shukdev Goswami, he knows also the purpose of Veda. Because they have established relationship with the absolute truth. Mahadev has that relationship as whom? What is the superlative category of Mahadev? Gopishwar Mahadev. You understand? And the superlative category of Shukdev Goswami? He's the Krida Shuk of Srimati Radhika. They play Parrot of Radhika. Therefore, he's saying, yeah, from my perspective of being Gopishwar Mahadev, I'm very clear what is Ved. Shukdev Goswami, he's the Krida Shuk of Radhika. He's the play Parrot of Radhika. He knows what is Ved. Because the ultimate statement of Veda is in where? Artam Brahma Sutranam Bharat Anya Nirnoya Gayatri Bhasha Ruposo Veda Paribramita Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the final word on Vedanta. Vedanta is the final conclusions of the Vedas. So he's saying, I know Srimad Bhagavatam. I know Shukdev Goswami knows Srimad Bhagavatam. But Vyasadeva, whether he knows or not, I don't know. Then that's borne out, in fact, because even though Vyasadeva compiled all Sastra, separated all the Vedas, did everything, then he wrote Puranas, right? Including something Bhagavad Puran. He gave that Bhagavad Puran to whom? Ramaharshan. He gave to Ramaharshan this Bhagavatam to speak to the sages there at Namasaranya. You understand? But what was the problem here? Vyas had not written from any perspective that is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. You understand? He compiled all the different shastras in different categories. The Purans, the word Purana means Pura Api Navam. Ancient compilations which have relevance today. This is called Puran. Understand? Itihas means Iti Ahasa. Something written as it happened, like Mahabharata or Ramayana. Understand? So he wrote this compilation of the Puranas. The Puranas also are like case law for a lawyer. You know what I mean? A lawyer, when I used to work in the police department, obviously I have to go to court. So these lawyers, they come in and they're carrying their briefcases. In the briefcases is all their case files, which are histories, which are not the case they're working on, but they have relevance to that case. So they'll cite that in 19 such and such, this thing happened, and this is its relevance to this. Dandavad Prabhuji. Understand? So Puranas are also like that. So Puranas are also like that. Puranas are like case histories that prove all of the conceptions of the Vedas, etc., etc. Among them, the superlative category, Amala Puran, spotless Puran, is Srimad Bhagavatam. Understand? So now, this Vyasadeva, prior to Narada Samvad, he had not compiled that. So now, Narada Muni, he hears from Brahmaji, his father, in the form of an expansion on the Chatushloki that he heard directly from Bhagavan, from Sri Krishna himself. So that Narada comes to Samprasashram to Vyas, and he observes. By the very nature, he observes, listen, there is some incongruity here. You've done yeoman's work in compiling all the Vedas, separating them into different categories, compiling itihasas like Mahabharata. Also, you've done yeoman's work with all Upanishads, everything else. And also, you've created all Puranas, you've compiled all Puranas, and you've disseminated them to various disciples, right? So you've done yeoman's work. But you failed to do one thing. So what did Gurudev used to say that Vyas failed to do?
To speak the sweet pastimes of Raj.
To speak the sweet pastimes of Raj and Radha Krishna Yuga. Yes, to speak those pastimes. But here's the thing, I asked Srila Gurudev one day, if you go to Brahma Vaivai Puran, Padma Puran, right, will you find the pastimes of Radha Krishna there or not?
They're all-
Yes.
Yes.
So that's the Gurudev, if it's written here, in all these Purans, then how will say that Vyasadeva didn't write it? Gurudev said he did not write from the angle of vision, and then Sripad Maharaj chimed in with perspective.
In Brahma Vaivai Puran, the perspective is not Parikiya, it's Swakiya Bhav.
Swakiya Bhav, not only that, but even when it mentions Braj pastimes, everything else in these Purans, Vyasadeva is not writing from the angle of vision of realization of Srimati Radhika.
Yes.
Understand? He's writing in general about the love of gopis. Among them, even in Paparan, Radhika is glorified. But not clear. That's why if you look at the Madhurya Upasana of other Sampradayas, Nimbarka Sampradaya, Vallabh Sampradaya, they don't have the details of either Virohe mood, and they don't also have things like different categories of gopis. Only Radhika's chief, they understand, but what is Pran Saki, Nitya Saki, Parama Praise, that's not there in those Sampradayas. Understand? And some bold mood is also not there. That is Nitya, Nikunja, Vihar. Somebody have a question?
Could it be said that the perspective wasn't there because he wasn't taking shelter of the Guru from Pura or Guru?
He's in Guru? He's in Guru Prabhupada. Haribol.
Please repeat the questions.
Oh, okay. I'll do that. Yeah, she's asking a question. Is it possible that he did not write in perspective because he was not yet in Guru Parampara? Right? Because Narada Muni had not spoken to him yet. But he's still Vedanta Krit. He's empowered by Bhagavan to write it. But you're bringing up a good point. Because how you get realization, just like if you take any sastra and you want to mass produce it, can you take it to a printing company? You can take it to a printing company. They'll produce it in mass, and then you can get expert people to distribute it through all the different stores. Does it mean the printing company or the stores have realization what's in the book?
No.
Understand? So Vedanta Krit, the activity of doing something, does not necessitate realization of that thing. But Vyasadeva was liberated, so there's no doubt about that. So Narada Muni, when he came there, and he told him, listen, you should do meditation, and then you should describe what's realized in your meditation in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So what then did Vyas do? Bhakti Yogena Manasi Samyak Pratile Amane Apashat Purusham Purnam Mayam Upasvitam. He did Bhakti Yogena Manasi. What is Bhakti Yogena Manasi? Can you realize the pastimes of Braj through Vaidhi Bhakti?
No.
No.
No, it's mentioned there. Sakla Jagate Mori Vaidhi Bhakti, Braj Bhakti, Vaidhi Nai Sakti. How you realize Braj? So what is Bhakti Yogena Manasi?
By mind.
Mind.
What is the hallmark quality of Raganuga Sadhan?
Following my mind.
Smarting.
Yes.
Manasic mood is the hallmark quality of Raganuga Sadhan. So Bhakti Yogena Manasi, Samyak Prati Vayamane, Apashat Purusham Punam. Then he saw everything in perspective, including a perspective of his own relation. How am I related? Now he's writing, and the proof of that is in the conclusion. He's writing from the objective of a devotee. You understand? Under Ashraya Jatiya. You understand? Because, how do we know this? Because he gets to the point, he says, Rajo Bhagavan Rajeshwar, except, not, excuse me, not that. What is this verse? What is the covert verse describing Radhika? Anya Radhika Unam, Bhagavan Harishwara. You understand? So we know that he's realized what is the glory of Srimati Radhika and following her. You understand? So now he's writing from this angle of vision. So this Vyas is called Guru Vyas because this Vyas is whom then will give to Sukdev Goswami in Leela the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam to be spoken to Maharaj Parikshit, Sutta Goswami, who's the son of Ramaharshan Sutta, will come there and hear that by the grace of Akhanda Guru Tattva Baladev, and he'll go back and speak it in parampara to the sages at Namasharanya. You understand? So this is the hallmark quality of our Bhagavat Parampara. Can we have a parampara if there's no Bhagavatam? No. Pancharatrika Parampara means one disciple gives to, a guru gives to a disciple, then next guru gives to a disciple. So we also have that element, right? Guru to disciple. But what is the main feature of our parampara? Bhagavat Parampara. It's based in the vichar and the conceptions of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not based on body-to-body transmission. It's based on the transmission of conception. Understand? So Vyasadeva, after he realized everything, he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. Then he gave it to the person most suitable to speak it. Because then the next question comes, if Vyasa is the guru of Shukdev Goswami, you understand? And Nard is the guru of Vyasa, how is it that they both sat down and heard Shukdev Goswami speak? How will you answer this question? Is it Maryada? Is it proper etiquette? So why is it there? Apashitam Purusham Purnam. He saw everything. He could see the superiority of who Shukadeva Goswami as the Krita Shuka Radhika. You understand? And therefore he gave the opportunity that speaking should be done by that person, because was Shukadeva Goswami already slated to speak Srimad Bhagavatam? Gurudev has told many times. It's mentioned that when Radha and Krishna ended their pastimes in this world, they told Shukadeva Goswami, you should remain here and disseminate our leelas in this world. Understand? Didn't we know that Shukadeva Goswami, he was staying there, Kailas, he, in the form of a parrot, he flew into one tree, he heard Sri Mahadev reciting Srimad Bhagavatam to Parvati, and Gurudev tells that as he was reciting, Parvati being stimulated, go on, sadhu, sadhu. You understand? And then, when it came to 5th canto, Parvati, understand? But still, Shukdev Goswami in the tree to prevent the stopping, because then Mahadev would have stopped. And this is another thing. While Mahadev was reciting, he was also absorbed. So the absorption, the avesha of Mahadev creates the sweetness in the flow of hearing Harikatha. You understand? That's why it's not good to break the flow of Harikatha. That's why a lot of people say you should ask questions at the end, etc., etc. Understand? So in that flow, Shukdev Goswami was also tasting. So to stop him from breaking the flow, he also began to say, sadhu, sadhu, very good, go on, go on. Gurudev tells us pastime all the time, right? So of course we know from there, then Mahadev realizing that Parvati had fallen asleep, oh, who's saying sadhu, sadhu? Who's saying go on, go on? Then spotting the Shuka in the tree, he took a blade of grass and threw, but he missed. That time he chased Sukadeva all the way. Sukadeva Goswami flew all the way to the ashram of Vyasadeva, and he flew, Bitika, the wife of Vyas, her mouth was open, he flew inside. Then he refused to come out. So some say 12 years, some say 16 years. You understand? You should be careful outside there. Just be careful, cars zooming up and down. Yeah? So he refused to come out. 12 years, some people say 16 years. But even when he said he would come out, only if Krishna would come and remove Maya. So he performed another Leela to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. What Leela is that? That when Krishna came, Krishna removed Maya for 1 minute, and Shukadeva Goswami came out, and in that 1 minute he took off and went straight to the forest. Right? Absorbed in what? Brahmavad. Understand? So two things are important here. One is that simply the removal of Maya does not produce a relationship with Krishna. You understand? So the idea that right beneath Maya is a whole rasa and swarup with Krishna is proven in this Leela not to be true. You understand? Because he experienced what? By the removal of Maya, he experienced Brahmananda. Because when Maya is removed, the jiva can experience Atmananda, right? Because the Jiva Goswami Pada is spoken in Paramatma Sandarbha. In the 21 qualities of the jiva, one quality is called Chit Ananda Atmika. Then in commenting on that status, he said this means dukkha pratiyogita. Right? So dukkha pratiyogita means that there's no misery in the Atma. So as soon as the Atma becomes free from the material energy, they have an experience of being, very peaceful. You understand? And so Nirvana, Atmananda, they're all along the same lines. It's simply freedom from misery. But the Chandogya Upanishad also mentions Rasam Eva Labdhananda Bhavati. But the Atma also has potentiality for unlimited kinds of bliss. So he was experiencing Brahmananda. So Brahma Sayuja, there's no such thing as the Atma becoming one with Brahman. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan clearly mentions, right? He gave the example. If you take a drop of water and you add it to the ocean, as that drop of water bursts into the ocean, it may appear that way. But Baladev Vidyabhushan said no. The ocean has increased by one drop. You understand? So the status of any jiva, Krishna is telling him, jiva bhuta sanatan. This is a permanent status. You cannot become one with Brahman. But the Atma has the ability to accept a form or not accept a form. Tasting the bliss of Brahmanohi Pratishtaham, right? It's written in the Sandarbhas. Tasting that bliss, right? Then the jiva experiences a higher level of Ananda than Atmananda. Now, here's another question. Can the jiva go from Brahma Ananda to having a relationship with Krishna? Or no?
Right.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, statistics, yeah. but in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, it's made clear.
Sanatan and Sanatan, they were Brahma.
But the argument that's given here is they still had forms in this world, and their Brahmavad was broken here. But what happens if somebody's already merged?
Here the body is traveling with Narada. Maybe by the contact. Here the body traveling like Narada morning.
Could be. But also in Brihad Bhagavatamrita is mentioned. Muktasya tasya tachchakti sachidananda dehinam prapitas. Ananda is not a static thing. Right? In Shishastakam we read, Anandam Buddhivadanam Pratipadam Puna Amrita Sadhanam. Ananda is something that is an increasing taste. You understand? So if someone in Brahm Ananda realizes the superiority of that Ananda as coming from Bhagavan, they will seek out such. Haribol, Haribol, somebody's got to mute out. And I can't see who because there's a whole bunch of people. Okay, yeah, all right. So, and then you'll seek out Ananda related to Bhagavan. So in we have Bhagavatamrita, Sanatan Goswami quotes this verse to say that yes, even from that position, one can get Satchidananda Dehinam Prapitas. Prapta means to obtain a Satchidananda body in which they can then render service. So the Atma always has the ability to receive the ability to have a relationship with Krishna. Understand? So even though Sukadeva Goswami, he left home in Brahmananda, he did so only to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. Because then Vyasadeva, we know the story, he'll chase after him, and then they say, oh my son, like in the verse, young brothers, in this shlok. But then he will tell the woodsman, if you will see my son, you'll recognize him. Because how beautiful was Sukadeva Goswami. Understand? So easily they would recognize. So first he told the verse, understand? So he tells this shlok. When Sukadeva Goswami hears this verse, his Brahmavad is immediately broken. He grabs the woodsman. Gurudev told Katha like this. He grabs him. Where have you heard such a thing? And so another thing, there's so many teachings in all these things. How is it that simply by hearing this verse, his Brahmavad was broken? He shook it. That's true. Therefore, his intrinsic sanskar is as the Krita Shuka Radhika. Immediately upon hearing this, all Brahmavad go away immediately. Now, then next he tell this verse. Ho bakiyam kala, what is this verse? Ho bakiyam sanakala kuta. Good. Jim Humksya Supi Ashwadi. So then he says, then tell this verse. So what is special about this verse? Same verse was spoken to Pundarik Vidyanidhi. What is so special about this verse?
Is Krishna so musical?
that Krishna is so merciful. You understand? And therefore this invokes compassion in the heart. So as soon as Shukdev Goswami heard this verse, then he returned and met with Vyas. Then Vyas spoke all Srimad Bhagavatam as he had realized it in his transcendental trance in Bhakti Yoga. You understand? That Shukdev Goswami, then the fullness of his own mood is manifest. He then speaks Srimad Bhagavatam. Because the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam is Radha Dasyam. Who knows what is Radha Dasyam better than Shukdev Goswami? Understand? So Shukdev Goswami then is put on to speak to Maharaj Parikshit. The son of Ramaharshan Sutta, his name was Ugrasrava. Ugrasrava Sutta, the word Ugrasrava means who has such deep capacity, intense capacity, fierce capacity for hearing. You understand? Ramaharshan, why was his name Ramaharshan? Does anybody remember? Because when he would recite the Puranas, he would make the hair on people's bodies stand on end. That's how sweetly he could recite. But when Baladevji came, he could realize, even you could recite very sweetly, but you've not understood the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam. You understand? Therefore, you will be a sacrifice. What will be sacrificed? All of the egoism that goes into, I am very wonderful reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm very sweetly, I can recite in so many different meters, with so many different commentaries, with this, and that. So he sacrificed that to get the purity of Srimad Bhagavatam to be heard by the sages at Namaskar. So he gave the blessing at that time, Ashirvad, to Ugrasrava Sutta, the son of Ramaharshan, that when he would hear Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukdev Goswami, he would completely absorb it. Understand? So this is our Bhagavad Guru Parampara. On this day, we celebrate the fullness of the manifestation of Vyas, which is why I started with how many features of Vyas. So you could see these features of Vyas almost like phases of the moon. The Purnima, the full phase of Vyas, is Guru Vyas, who's in our Guru Parampara, Bhagavad Guru Parampara. It's that Vyas that we celebrate on this day. And by extension, all of those who have association in Parampara with that Guru Vyas, they're also celebrated on this day. So this is meaning of Guru Purnima.
I'm still a little confused.
I'll repeat the question.
I'm still a little confused about why Vyasadeva considers Sukadev superior and why he spoke Srimad Bhagavatam instead of himself.
So Didi's asking a question, why did Vyasadeva consider Sukadev Goswami, even though technically he would be the disciple of Vyas, why did he consider him superior and therefore the person to speak Srimad Bhagavatam? So I mentioned, Apashat Purusham Purnam, when Vyasadeva had realization of Bhagavatam, he realized everything. So if you look in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it mentioned, Sri Bhadrayani Uvacha, Bhagavan Pitara Trisar Utpali Kamalika. These are the first beginning verses of Ras Lila. So then if you look in the commentary, Sri Bhadrayani Uvacha, they describe in those commentaries the glory of Shukadeva Goswami as the parent of Srimati Radhika. Understand? So Vyasadeva also saw that. And therefore he realized to come to the conclusion, to come to the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Radha Dasyam, who would better be able to convey that than the Krita Shuk, the play parent of Radhika? What is Vyasadeva's relationship to Radhika? Nardmuni in Brajlila is whom? Madhumangal. He also has Nardiya Gopi. But we don't see the Nardiya Gopi, what category of high relation to Radhika we don't see. And Madhumangal is Priya Namasaka. But who Shukdev Goswami? He's the Krita Shuk of Radhika. He, all Radhika's moods, he transmits every day going to Krishna in Nandagan. Gurudev told the story. Understand? So this Krita Shuk of Radhika has the ability. You understand? That's why it mentions in the 3rd shloka of Bhagavatam that when this parrot will bite the ripened fruit, right, that fruit becomes even sweeter. Means when it is coming through the aswadan of Shukdev Goswami, and then it manifests to the world, oh, it is full of not only potency, sort of Shakti, but so much sweetness. Understand?
Did you just say that Vyasadeva is Narada Muni?
No. Vyasadeva is the disciple of Narada.
Oh,
Shiksha disciple, because we don't read that he was given Diksha by, right? So he's Shiksha disciple of Narada Muni.
so what was that about Narada Muni?
In Krishna Lila, Narada Muni is Madhumama. Narada Muni has so many different swarup. Because in Bhagavatam it mentions that he was born from the heart of Brahma as the best of his deliberations. He's the personified form of bhakti.
And
Also,
Vyasadeva is? And
Narada Muni.
Vyasadeva is?
Narada Muni is the personified form of bhakti.
But who's Vyasadeva and Krishna?
Vyasadeva is Vyas. He's a great sage. Understand?
Thank
But also in the Ramayana, there are many commentaries on Ramayana. In one commentary, I believe it's of Govindaraj, it mentions the word Narada means Naravaram Dadati Iti Narada. That person who gives the best of everything to mankind is called Narada. And what is the best thing you can give to mankind? Bhakti. Harikata. He even inspires his own Veena. So they're always associating with each other. Narada Muni Maja Veena Radhika Ramana Name. So even the Veena, they have always a sangha together and they're always glorifying Radha and Krishna. Okay? So Narada is also very high class, but he also realizes Shukdev Goswami is the creator of Radhika. Who can explain Bhagavatam better? So they both sat and heard. Many upok in here. It means, what kind of Guru Abhiman did Narada Vyas have? Zero. They went for what is the highest category of the manifestation of the Katha. Understand? No Guru Abhiman. Akanda Guru Tattva Nityananda. Does he have Guru Abhiman? Akroda Paramananda Nityananda. Abhiman Sunya Nitai Nagananda. He also has no Abhiman. Therefore he doesn't become angry. Because anger is born from false egoism from which different kinds of Abhimans are produced. Alright? So any other questions on Guru Purnima? Prabhuji, anything to offer? Is there another microphone? Yeah, no, I mean,
No, I think that you've explained everything very beautifully.
hold on a second.
Oh.
We have other very senior devotees here, so just having other people speak. They're speaking through the microphone so you'll be able to hear it.
Yeah, I think that you've explained everything very beautifully. I could not possibly add anything. Only Vyasadeva also is Shaktiavish avatar because he, as compiler of Vedanta, Krishna says in the Gita, Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham, which you also mentioned. So that's it. I could not add anything. It's very, very beautiful.
Alright, then with permission of devotees, we should go on to the
Could you give some pramans that Shukadev is the parent of Srimati Radhika?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
outside
Yes.
Gurudev Sangha, people have some
No.
doubts.
The
Absolutely.
question, to repeat the question, can you give praman that Sri Shukadev Goswami is Shri Shuka?
So I'm giving Praman. Plus I had the wonderful good fortune. I wrote this question to Sri Achutalal Bhattji in Vrindavan through Brajanathji. Sri Achutalal Bhattji was sick at that time, so he was not giving katha every day as he normally does. Understand? While he was sick, he made a 20-minute video for me explaining the Praman about this. And Brajanath, who I Danva Pranam over and over again to Vrinda and Brajanath, because they asked him, even though he was sick, and he made a 20-minute video and they sent it to me on Telegraph to explain this Praman. Understand? And where to look. So a number of places to look. If you look in the commentary of Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he directly mentions it in his Tika. Right? In the third verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? The Faustuti verse, he mentions in that Tika that he's the parent of Radhika. 1. 2, Gurudev told from Ananda Vrindavan Champu. The story is told. Second verse. If you look at the 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, the first verse of Rasalila I told earlier, Sri Bhadrayani Uvacha. If you look in the symphony of commentaries, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, others are commenting on this verse. Sanatan Goswami's first part of his commentary saying, Sri Bhadrayani Vacha means Sri Yukta Sri Bhadrayani Vacha. So Sri here means Radhika. He's Sri Yukta, he is connected to Radhika, that person who's saying Sri Bhadrayani Vacha. Understand? So he directly says, he's directly Yukta to Radhika as her parent. Understand? So there are so many pramans. Also, in the Bhagavatam itself, Sri Sukha Uvacha. I had a whole discussion with somebody about this. He says, but it could be that there could be. You understand? But this is clear. Sri Sukha Uvacha. Sri's Suk is speaking. You understand? The other things add to that Brahman. But that's clear. So then we're saying, yeah, but many places it says Sri something Uvacha. But then when you look, it doesn't. It doesn't. Other places it will say so-and-so Uvacha. It doesn't say Sri so-and-so Uvacha. There's some rare situations. But for the most part, whenever Shukadeva Goswami was addressed, it says Sri Sukha Uvacha. Or Sri Bhadrayani Uvacha. Understand? So many pramans actually are there for this. People can look, if you just want to look in the Great Vaishnav Toshini of Sanatan Goswami Pad, right? But I have this thing called Symphony of Commentaries. So there's many different commentaries. Jiva Goswami also comments there. Understand? So, but then also Shri Trutala Bhaji, I also accept very high class of Vaishnav and realized soul. So I also accept. Anything else on that point? So today also is the Tirubhav of Sri Sanatan Goswami Pad and also Sri Prabhodananda Saraswati Thakur. So I want to just mention a little of Sri Prabhodananda Saraswati Thakur. Of course, you know he was the uncle of Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami. And in Krishna Lila he was Tonga Vijayasaki. So one devotee asked me a question once in relation to Radha Rasa Sudanidhi. If Prabhodananda Saraswati Thakur is Tonga Vijayasaki in Krishna Lila, how was he writing when Pujapad Srila Bhakti Swarup Siddha Maharaj was here? He spoke so high class and beautiful Harikatha from Radha Rasa Sudanidhi. And he was saying these were all the meditations of Prabhodananda Saraswati Thakur. So the question would arise, if he's Tonga Vijayasaki in Krishna Lila, why is he having so much meditation as a manjari? What's the answer to this question? If he's Tonga Vijayasaki, why is he having so much meditation as a manjari? First of all, does it say what manjari? It does not say. That's one hint. Anybody?
He's both.
Huh?
He's both.
Huh? Vinay Prabhu?
Because he wanted, you said it before, that because he has an aspiration to become a manjari, so he was meditating on the manjari, and that's why he was purifying in the form of manjari.
Yes. Not that really he has aspiration to become manjari, I understand what you're saying, but really essentially, in Gaur Leela, the speciality of Gaur Leela is everyone's desire is fulfilled. You understand? Everyone's desire is fulfilled. Premaya Gokulamam, Kamam Nityagamat Patam, Urava Piyetan, Vajanti Bhagavad Priya. All the devotees from different incarnations, they get their desire to taste. Rupa Goswami wrote in Bhakti Sindhu, the intensity of calm praying in Gaur Leela. Understand? They get to taste the intensity of it. They don't give up their sarup. That's why when Mahaprabhu told to, or rather Rupa and Sanat told to Anupam, you should try to do worship of Radha Krishna. Mahaprabhu told to Murari Gupta, try to do worship of Radha Krishna. They could not change from being Ram Bhaktas. But in Gaur Leela, the desire to taste what is the mood of Braj, and that intensity is fulfilled. Tunga Vijayasaki sees the beauty of Manjari Seva every single day. Being absorbed and looking at the beauty of that in Gaur Leela, the desire to be able to taste that comes through. So he's writing as Prabhodananda Saraswati Thakur in Gaur Leela. You understand? Not writing as Tonga Vijayasaki. He's writing as Prabhodananda Saraswati Thakur, blessed in Gaur Leela, to have the feeling and mood of Manjari Seva, Manjari Upasana. It's clear?
What's the difference between a Saki and a Manjari?
Sakis mean those who have friendship with Radhika. There are different kinds of Sakis. Our Paramaprasna Sakis are 8 in number, like Tunga Vidya, Lalita, Visakha, Chitra, Chambaka, Lata, Sudevi, Rangadevi, etc. So they're called Paramaprasna Sakis. So they have what's called Samasneha Adhika. They have equal love for Radha and Krishna, but they lean towards Radhika more. Those who have Palyadasi Bhav for Radhika, they are called 2 categories, Pran Saki and Nitya Saki. Pran Sakis are like Rup Manjari, Lavanga Manjari, Rati Manjari, right? Like our Goswamis. They're all Pran Sakis of Radhika, right? And they have a special mood. Sanchari Satsya Munava, Krishna Rati Sirigrati, Pushamana Sarikascha, Babulasiti Riyate. Right? Some people translate Babulas Rati, but in the original translation, Rupa Goswami wrote, Babulasiti Riyate. By this Babulas, we mean to say, those whose Rati for Srimati Radhika exceeds and nourishes their Rati towards Krishna. I think I told before here in the class, once Prabhu, he brought up, in 2008, we were walking in front of my house with Srila Gurudev, he brought up a very deep point. He says that Rupa Goswami has defined a Sthai Bhav to be only related to Krishna. Right? Sthai Bhav Utrasa Prokta Sri Krishna Vishayini Rati. That Krishna is the Vishai of any Sthai Bhav. So how do you accommodate Manjari Bhav? This verse explains it. Their Krishna Rati, it is excelled by their Rati for Surit, means their friend Radhika. You understand? Pushamanas Arikascha. So it nourishes their mood towards Krishna. Plus, here it says Sri Krishna, even in the original definition, Sthai Bhav Utrasa Prokta Sri Krishna Vishayini Rati. So who's actually the object of the Sthai Bhav? Sri Krishna, not just Krishna. Because can Krishna be there without Radhika? Not possible, that's his Shakti. So the actual object is always Sri Krishna. Radhika and Krishna. Okay? But their mood is like a Sanchari Bhav that continuously exceeds. Sanchari Bhav generally means like a wave in the ocean rises and then falls and merges back into the ocean. Theirs continuously, Adhika means to exceed something. So it continually exceeds their Krishna Rati, their Rati towards Krishna. So this is called Palyadasi Bhav or Radhadasya. Understand?
So I had a question. So all the Prana Sakhis, our Goswamis, are in the Gana of Lalita. Tunga Vidya and all the other Vishaka, they also have their own Manjaris and their own Gana. So is it possible because it almost seems like
repeat the question.
The desire of Tunga Vidya Sakhi to like her own Manjaris, her own Gana are also serving Radharani is getting personified, her desire is getting personified.
In this form of Prabhodananda Saraswati.
Yes.
Yes, you could see like that. You can see, because she's seeing what is Manjari Bhav. The question was, it's a more esoteric question also, that for the most part, our Goswami Vaga, like Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, etc., in their spiritual forms in Vrindavan, they are in the group of Lalita Saki. It's called a Gun. So they're in that group. So we also aspire to be in Lalita Gun. In our meditation, deeply, as the devotees mature, right? Like there's even prayers, right? Right? For that, I'm not repeating here. So, but to aspire to be in the Gun of Lalita, you understand? But all of the different Sakis of Radhika, like Vishaka, Tunga Vidya, Sudevira, they all have also their own manjaris. You understand? And they also have an Priyanama Saka who may be assigned also. Like Subal, he has great affection for the service of Srimati Radhika. Understand? So Rupa Manjari is glorifying in Pujali Mani. He says, Jantika Rahasya Gyan. This Subal is so highly qualified, what service is he not capable of performing? So then this says this Atishokti Alankar. Atishokti Alankar means like it's hyperbole, is that right? Yeah. It's like hyperbole. Right? Because actually Subal can't do everything. Understand? And then they give an example. Like when the divine couple are together, it says the Subal is fanning them. But then Jiva Goswami says, how is he fanning? He sits outside the kunj and he pulls one rope and the rope is fanning. Understand? But Rup Manjari, in the glory of how glorious Subal is, mentions this thing. Like that. So, even though they all have their separate groups, and if you read in Krishna Ganadash Deepika, you'll see there's different manjaris assigned in different groups. Understand? Prominent is the group of Gan of Lalita, because Rup Manjari is in that group. And we are Rupa Anugas. So we also want that group. Understand? Now, of course, if you get to Braj, we say, well, that's not available. You could say what's on the menu, but probably would be better. No, I'm joking. But the idea is, in your upasan, then naturally as the upasan matures, there'll come a point when in your Stavan Stuti doing sudden bhajan, certain Stavan Stuti, because we shouldn't think, and this is again, I'm going to speak something about Saman again, we shouldn't think the practice is ritualistic, because then you miss the efficacy of the things in the practice to illumine your spiritual growth. You know what I'm saying? If you're saying a prayer every day, but the prayer is ritualistic, you miss the potency in the prayer to award you what it is you're asking for. You understand? We'll come to that when we discuss about the Goswami. So this is Prabhodananda Saraswati Thakur. This was one main question about Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi. So Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi is obviously very, very glorious grantha, because here it gives expression to all moods of what is Manjari Seva. Understand? And Maharaj, when he spoke so wonderfully, actually more than just here. That had been a trip. Yeah, 1 month, completely. Explaining all verses in detail, which is very rare. Extremely rare. Because you have to remember the dominant mood was not to, what is our jewel that's kept in the treasure chest. So you can bring out the settings for the jewel, which is like gold. You can talk something of that. You could bring out this thing, that thing, gold coins, you could do all kinds. But the jewel is always kept in the chest. But actually, persons like Bhakti Jivan Janardhan Goswami Maharaj, Al Srila Gurudev, they were foremost in saying, no, the jewel has to be shown to the world or it will be lost. People will remember they're taking so many things out of the chest, but they'll forget there's the greatest jewel in the chest. Understand? So these things have to be spoken. So that was very rare. I think Maharaj said it, right? So who's come and spoken about Rasa Sudhanidhi?
He said not even in Vaikuntha, anywhere they
What to speak of? This Sunday. But I've also heard now Shri Chutula Bhatt speak on it, Premdas Sastri speak on it. Premdas Sastri speaks mostly in Bengali, but there's always translation. But Shri Chutula Bhatt also spoke on it. So, hearing these things is just, but hearing them in maturation is more potency. So today's also the Tirubalu Shri Sanatan Goswami Pad. So we're getting some late, but I wanted to give honor to Sanatan Goswami Pad, mostly by speaking how he's a Sambandha Gyan Acharya. This year we had our Bhakti Intensive. Every year we have this gathering for 1 week. So this year we did it in Virginia. It was really, really wonderful, inspiring. Devotees came. It was very nice association. But we dealt with the theme of Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan. Understand? The Acharya of Sambandha Gyan is Sanatan Goswami. Why is Sanatan Goswami considered to be the Acharya of Sambandha Gyan? The designation of the particular acharyas in relation to Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan are given according to how they related and received from Mahaprabhu different kinds of commission. Can we say Sanatan Goswami doesn't know Abhideya Tattva? Or Prayojan Tattva? He's not both, he's all three. But what became prominent in their commission in relation to Mahaprabhu's teachings is how they were designated. You understand? And a particular deity that they founded also gave rise to that conception, like Madan Mohan. So I'm explaining. Srila Sanatan Goswami Pad, by asking Mahaprabhu the question, Kayami, Kayanamai, Jare Tapatra. Who am I and why am I suffering in this world? Is the essential question. It's called Mati. Mati means the point in anyone's life when discrimination arises to question their relationship with the material world. Understand? This is the symptom of the rising of spiritual samskars. I didn't say bhakti samskars here, I said spiritual samskars. If they're bhakti samskars, it may be. And then the way a person will turn and to look for the answer to that question will be towards bhakti. But it may also be due to any spiritual impression, a person comes to question the existence of the material world and things in relation to themselves. But then, if they don't have bhakti samskars, they may take to the path of Gyan, Yoga, etc., etc. You understand? But Praptanga Aduniti Chasti Yasa Bhakti Vasana. If they have prior bhakti samskars, when this mati arises, this discriminatory question, then the bhakti samskars will push them back towards the path of bhakti from wherever they left off. Is clear? Understand? So, this question, Kayami, who am I? Kenamai Jarikapatra, and why am I suffering? Is the questioning of the material world in relation. So that mati is what leads to, in bhakti, then the idea, oh, I want to answer these questions. So then Mahaprabhu answers the question, Jivera Surupoye Krishna Nitya Das, Jivera Tatastha Shakti Ved Abed Prakash. Who are you? You are eternally the Das of Krishna. Why are you suffering? Because your nature is Tatastha Swabhav. Right? Previously, when devotees would talk about Tatastha Shakti, I remember many years ago, people spoke of Tatastha Shakti as a locale. Like a place in between the spiritual and material worlds. Is Tatastha Shakti a locale or not?
No.
It is not. If you look in Javadharma, yes, exactly. If you look in Javadharma, when Brajanath asked the question to Gopal Guru Goswami, he asked him the question, can you explain to me what is Tatastha Swabhav? Then Gopal Guru Goswami, he gives examples from the Brihat Aranyakya Upanishad, which are examples to explain what is Tatastha Swabhav by explaining, oh, it is a indiscernible place of demarcation between land and water. It is like a fish swimming from one bank to another. So he gives several examples to give an illustration of what is Tatastha Swabhav. Swabhav means having the nature of being marginal. Having the nature of being marginal means that the jiva, which is the Shakti of Bhagavan, jiva is the Shakti. What is the actual soul called? Atma. So you hear sometimes they talk Jivatma. But jiva is the Shakti of Bhagavan. You understand? Atma is the individual. In Paramatma Sandhava, Jiva Goswami says, Pratik Setra, every Atma is an individual. They are composed of Jiva Shakti. That Jiva Shakti has an expanse from the spiritual dimension into the Shristi Leela of Bhagavan. In the Shristi Leela of Bhagavan, that Jiva Shakti is not imbued with Swarup Shakti. And because they're not imbued with Swarup Shakti, their tendency to be influenced by the Bahiranga Shakti or Avijja Shakti is available. Understand? Those who are situated beyond the material arena, in the spiritual arena, are all imbued with Swarup Shakti. Therefore, they cannot be affected by material energy. That's why it is conclusive, nobody can fall from the spiritual world. Because that would mean that Swarup Shakti itself was defeated. So how can the superior Shakti be defeated by the inferior Shakti? You understand? That's why it's not possible. Amen. Let me not regress.
Testify.
Not testify, right? Right? I can act, my mom, my mother went through everything. Right? So we went to Baptist church for a while. Then she ended up in Judaism. It's way out there. My house was crazy. Anyway. So, because of this, and so then, is there any praman for it? Because that's the next question. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it explains. What is this verse? Swamsa Vibhinamsa Rupa Hanavi Star Ananta Vaikunte Brahmananda Karena Vihara. It says that the Lord has unlimited pastimes, Swamsa from his own forms, and Vibhinamsa means whom? The Jiva Shakti. Both in Ananta Vaikunta means the unlimited spiritual planets all the way up to Goloka Vrindavan, and all the Brahmanandas means the material world or Shristi Leela. He has various pastimes. So those jivas situated within the Brahmanandas, they are not imbued with Swarup Shakti. Though their nature is Sat, Chit, and Ananda. So now this begs another question. What is the difference between Sat, Chit, and Ananda and Sandini, Samvit, and Aladini? Because this was the source of so much confusion. Because automatically devotees conflated the two things to be the same. So what is the difference?
I think you had mentioned that one kind of comes from the other. It's like
Certainly the Mool Shakti is the source of all of the Shakti. So in that sense, yes. But what is Sat, Chit, and Ananda? Sometimes it's used interchangeably. In relation to the Bada Jiva, what does Sat, Chit, and Ananda mean? Are we existing? Is that existence eternal? Here the problem is the use of the adjective full. Okay? So, Sat, we have existence. That existence cannot be taken away. It's eternal. Because it's a Shakti of Bhagavan. We have cognition of that existence. That cognition can't be taken away because it's concomitant with existing. You understand? So that cognition is there. But that cognition is not full. That's why there's something called the learning process in every sphere of life. Because our cognition is not axiomatically full. So we learn things. We have the ability to do that. Jiva Goswami, in Paramatma Sandarbha, when he's describing 21 qualities of the Atma again, this is something devotees should look at some point. He describes the first quality of the Atma is Swashmai Swayam Prakash. It means they have the ability to understand themselves and things in relation to themselves. So it has that ability. But that's something that has to be done through a process. So the cognition of the jiva in the Brahmanandas is not axiomatically full. So the idea, Satchidananda means full of knowledge and bliss. This is not the, in relation to divinity it's true. In relation to Bada Jiva not. Their cognition is not full. If their cognition was full, would we be in ignorance? That's the simple answer right there. Right? You can't be in ignorance. I'm fully cognizant in ignorance. That's kind of oxymoron. Alright, so now, the Ananda Vritti in the Jiva, right, is it full or not? It can't be because then you would not have the duality called dukkha. There would not be sukha and dukkha. If the Ananda Vritti is full, there's no question of dukkha. You understand? So, to understand this even deeper, in Ujjwala Mani, it's written, what is dukkha in relation to the spiritual world? Like the gopis, they undergo suffering of Krishna separated, when they're separated. What is that dukkha?
what is dukkha?
Dukkha means sorrow, unhappiness.
It's also Ananda.
Huh?
It's also Ananda.
So that means there's never any time when they're suffering.
You can say that.
No, bhajan itself is an act of suffering and crying, though it's not your.
So in the spiritual world, I'm saying, but in the spiritual world, the
In the
residents are
separation is the love. The love.
So are they suffering?
Not really.
If they're not suffering, then it's always Ananda. So they're not suffering. So now we're really confused.
It is direct and indirect.
It's direct and indirect. That's closer. Ujjwala Mani is mentioning. Dukkam adhikam chitte. Shukam eva rajayate. The word rajayate means to permeate something. The gopis, because of their praying, they actually undergo a suffering. But the suffering the suffering is only a pretense to stimulate remembrance of Krishna. The remembrance of Krishna, is it continual or not?
Yes.
And therefore there's no break in it. Therefore, even though there's dukkha, shukya eva rajayate. Sukha comes and permeates the dukkha and it becomes Ananda. Understand? This is explained in Ujjwala Mani in relation to rag. Because in the different things, rag is described as suffering but with joy. I'm paraphrasing here. But the Sanskrit definition is given, dukkha madhikam chitte, shukya eva rajayate. When sukh on the stimulus, like the examples given by Jiva Goswami in the commentary. If any lady, chastity is questioned, this first he gives the example of standing on the sharp stones of Govardhan. That's the first example is given. Then the example is given, but even more painful for a chaste lady is for chastity to be questioned. So it says the gopis suffer the greatest pain coming from Jatila, Kutila, etc., who question their chastity. But on the pretense of having Krishna Krishna's association, that pain, which is worse than death, is eradicated on the pretense I might get Krishna's association. That's the example they give. Understand? So, what was it before that? Satchidananda. So, Ananda in the Brahmanandas is not full. Understand? So the jiva is not full of bliss because of the duality of sukha and dukkha. In the spiritual world, that duality is not there because praying itself, according to that description, right, always produces ananda as dukkha. Even as dukkha, it produces ananda. But it's not like we intellectually think of it. Well, because you can't conceive it, it's an experiential thing. Okay. Now, so the jiva is not any of those things. What's missing in the jiva, in the Brahmanandas, that makes them not have fullness of cognition and ananda? Sambandha is the beginning. But what is the Shakti that's missing? Ladini Shakti and Samvit Shakti. Yes, Swarup Shakti. So that is what it is that makes the jivas in this world not be able to experience full cognition and full bliss. So then the question arises, how will that be obtained? So first you have to understand the condition of the jiva in this world. The external energy produces a Shakti called Avijja Shakti. The Avijja Shakti means, like, darkness means the absence of light. So Avijja means the absence of Vidya. What Vidya? What knowledge? Jiva Goswami again in the first verse of Bhakti Sandala on check 1, he says, Anadi Paramatatva Jnanam Samsarga Abhav. The jiva is Prag Abhav. Prag Abhav means the prior non-existence of any idea of their own nature, what to speak of their relation to Bhagavan. You understand? They're the Prag Abhav of, or the absence of Paratattva Gyan. What is that Paratattva Gyan? Sambandha Gyan. They don't know their own nature, hence they don't know their relation in that nature to the absolute nature of Bhagavan. That Paratattva Gyan is Samsarga Abhav. It is because Abhav is of different kinds. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but there's Dunks Abhav, Prag Abhav. Understand? So Prag Abhav means prior non-existence of that Swarup Shakti in the jiva. Understand? Now, the beginning of getting that Paratattva Gyan back begins with Sambandha Gyan. And how does Sambandha Gyan come to the jiva in the material world? Through Guru Kripa. Understand? So Sava Sangamena Ratnya Ankor Rupa Eva Mati. When there's association of a sadhu, the Ankor means the sprout, right? Takes the form of Mati, which is that question Kayami. When you get the association of a sadhu, directly or indirectly, it comes in the category of Ado Shraddha. Srila Achutla Bhaji broke down Ado Shraddha. It's not one thing. It's like several microcosms in that building up to Shraddha and Sadhu. You understand? So, one micro phase of that Shraddha is this question Mati. When there's Bhakti Samskars or Bhakti Sukritis, then when that question arises, one turns towards the path of Bhakti. When one turns towards the path of Bhakti, then they're given the ability to have Sadhu Sangha. Understand? So Ado Shraddha then Sadhu Sangha. Then that Shraddha, which has its own potency. What is the potency in Shraddha?
Faith.
In faith, what's the potency that's there?
Prema. Prema.
Love.
Shastra. Shraddha Anupayani Varajam Bhakti Unmukhi Chitta Vritti Visesh. This Shraddha has the power, your Chitta, and Vrittis means the functions of it, were always under the 5 features of ignorance are Asmita, Avidya itself, Asmita, Rag, Dvesh, and Abhinavesh. Abhinavesh means an inextricable absorption that you can't break. I quoted these verses before. In the 11th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam is mentioned, Anadi Avidya Yuktasha, the connection with Avidya is Anadi, from beginning. Purushasha Vedatmanam, Swato na Sambhavanti. You can't break that absorption in Maya on your own. So Tona Sambhavanti Anya, it requires another. Gyanator Ganadobhave. Someone who's realized outside the material ignorance and who has the compassionate disposition to give you that Gyanator means transcendental knowledge. Understand? So it comes from Guru Sadhu. So when they give you faith is the first investment. Then you look towards Bhakti to answer your question, and when you meet the Sadhu, the faith potency which had the ability that you didn't have to break your absorption of your chitta vrittis in the material world, that faith is then deposited at the lotus feet of a sadhu. This is called Guru Padasraya, etc. Understand? From that sadhu, when you do Guru Padasraya, etc., in Chaitanya Charitamrita it mentions Diksha Kale Bhaktagane Atma Samarpan Sekale Krishna Tare Kare Atma Sam. At the time that you take Diksha from that Sadhu Guru, at that time, that Sadhu Guru, when you do Samarpan, what does Samarpan mean? Yes, because even the practice of Bhakti, Prahlad Maharaj told, Shravanam Kirtan, Vishnu Smaranam, etc., it becomes Arpita Vishnu, means the same thing as Samarpan. Only when you do Saranagati does the efficacy of these things take place. So when you do Guru Parasraya, being surrendered. Because you can do Guru Parasraya on the basis of tenure. 6 months I took Harinam. 1 year later, my tenure in Bhakti, I received Diksha. I still have my t-shirt from the festival. For 3 weeks, I didn't wash my forehead, so I had the vibhuti. It was still there. Everything. Understand? So, but did you get Diksha or not? Maybe, maybe not. The t-shirt, the festival, and indigestion from the overeating of regiments, all of that you got. Did you get Diksha? Therefore, it may be many, many lifetimes that you'll come and come and come. Therefore, one of the things in the prayer of Narottam Das Thakur, Chakudana Dilo Ye, Janami Janami Prabhu Se, Raghunath Das Goswami, Yariche Brajavasam, Prati Janur, no, Yariche Brajavasam Saragam, Prati Janur, be prepared to come life after life. Life after life, again and again, you will take Diksha. In one life, when your maturation is somewhat coming, and you take Diksha, at that time, Dipya Jnananyanta Srimati Matre Bhagavat Srup Jnanatena Bhagavat Sambandha Visesh Jnanansha. In that life, that your maturation has come somewhat from the influence of Bhakti Samskars, right, becoming mature, that time, the Visesh Sambandha Jnana, that means the understanding of the basis of your spiritual identity will resonate with your chitta, and at that time you become established in Sambandha Jnana. Sanatan Goswami Pad is the acharya of this, because if you look at the teachings he gave, all of this is present in the Siksha of Sanatan Goswami.
I had a question about Sambandha Gyan. It seems the sadhu who is going to give Sambandh has realized his or her own Sambandha with the divine couple. That means that person must be Uttam Adhikari, a Madhyam Adhikari, and Kanishta Adhikari can never give Diksha. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so Didi is asking a question. In order to give the speciality of a Sambandha Gyan, that person has had to realize something of their own Sambandha Gyan. We say Sambandha Gyan. The answer is yes. If you've not realized something of your own Visay Sambandha Gyan, then you cannot give a Dhyan. Now, you can give mantra, but the mantra will have to be illuminated by any Shiksha Guru who has that kind of realization. Understand? Because the Visay Sambandha Gyan, part of realizing that comes from realizing the Visesh Roop of Sri Guru. That's what we're singing. Etc. And in your mantras, I can't repeat the mantra obviously, but in the Guru mantra, the Guru Dhyan is seeing Guru in that capacity.
Right.
So, and that's why many of our Guru Vagas, they will reveal, I'm Naira Mani Manjari, I'm Kamala Manjari, I'm Ramana Manjari. They reveal for the sake of the mature disciples to be able to do the Dhyan. If that is Raman Manjari, and your aspiration is to serve Raman Manjari life after life, how are you so-and-so current with? The practice has to make sense. You understand? So therefore, now already some indication of your Sambandha Gyan is given by understanding Sambandha Gyan of the Sadguru you have. You understand? Also, when Guru gives Diksha, normally they'll give Guru Dhyan. So they give some indication of their own Swarup. You understand? Now, prior to understanding we say Sambandha Gyan, there's still Samanya Sambandha Gyan. Samanya means constitutional. Constitutional is Jiversanupoya Krishna Nitya Das. So I have to end because it's getting late. But this is a very important point. When you come to the practice of bhakti and you join the Hare Krishna movement, you were John Doe. You join the movement, you become Bhakta John. You understand? When you went from John Doe to Bhakta John, at the doorway when you came into the temple, did your false ego stay outside?
No.
And your false ego is the accommodating repository of all of the upadis you have. And upadi means a particular karmic designation. You understand? Like I'm the son of so-and-so, I was born in this place, etc., etc. And anything you acquire throughout life, it becomes added to the upadis you have. I'm a musician, I'm a poet, I'm an engineer, I'm a college graduate, non graduate, high school, I'm this, I'm that, this. All these are called upadis. Therefore the verse, Sava upadi vinay mukta. Right? One of the verses describing pure devotion. Getting rid of all upadis. Ahamkara is the bolstering repository and the bolstering feature of these upadis. Because it's the false ego that says, Aham, I am the karana and karata of everything related to the upadis I have. I'm the cause and the doer. And anybody who's the cause and the doer of something means they're entitled to be the bhokta or the enjoyer. That abhiman doesn't leave just because you checked into the temple as Bhakta Jai. You understand? So that ahamkar is still fully present. Except now it's got a new upadi. Understand? The new upadi is, I'm Bhakta John. Understand? I live in an ashram. I'm spiritual. You understand? And now, Bhakta John 6 months later becomes Janadas. Wow. So now I have a new name. So now I have another thing to add to the upadis. And the false ego just, yeah, the great, wow. Janadas becomes the greatest Sankirtan devotee in the temple. He becomes the temple commander, vice president, then becomes president, then the assistant GBC, then the GBC, then the GBC, then the guru.
Regional GBC.
The regional GBC, universal GBC. Exactly. So then, what happens is that the next thing is you become the guru. What has not left all that time? False egoism. Because you're existing and your existence has to be based in one or two things. The false identity you have or the real one. If you didn't realize the real one, you don't have an alternative. You have to keep the existing one. So this then becomes called Guru Abhiman. That's how you get that word. Because how can you have Guru Abhiman unless the false ego has taken it as a upadi? That's how it becomes a self-conception. If you realize I am so-so manjari, how you think I'm Guru? You understand?
Yes.
Because I know who I am. I know my identity, so I'm not Guru. You understand? I'm functioning as Guru. What is Guru? Guru Shabdat Andhakara Ru Shabdat Andhakara Nirodita. The removal of ignorance is a function. A sadhu who's realized their identity is doing that function. If you take it as an abhiman, it's called Guru Abhiman, means you have not yet tasted your own identity. You have not even tasted Samanya Sambandha Gyan. I'm Das of Krishna. Because if you're Das of Krishna, how can you be Aham anything? Understand this? Use of the word Aham is indicative of the presence of still false egoism. That's why when you wake up in the morning, before you put your foot on the ground, you say, Nama Om Vishnu, whatever your Guru Pranam is. So what is Nama? Na Aham Mameti. Not false ego and the things related to it. That's the affirmation in the Guru Pranam. You understand? Again, if it's a ritual statement, it's not going to remove false ego. If the statement is backed by above, that I want the mood of service to Krishna, then the subsidy of Guru Kripa comes and removes, along with the narcissism and everything else, the tendency for false ego, and begins to illuminate first, I am the Das of Krishna. You understand? Even before you chant your Anak, you do Bhutta Suddhi. Now, I'm not any of these things. Gopi Bhatu Pada Kamalayo, Dasa, Dasa, Anudas. In case I missed the first time, Anudas. You understand? So what is affirmed here is that the person who's going to chant these mantras is not any of these things within the realm of upadis and ahankar. The person who's going to chant the mantras has realized I am Das of Krishna. As you progress more and more unfoldment comes and you begin to realize, how I am the Das of Krishna? I'm following Raman Manjari. I'm the Das of Krishna aspirationally as a Manjari. Then as more bhajan maturation comes, some illumination comes within the context of your sudden bhajan. You understand? Something will reveal. Oh, this is your dress. This is your name. This is the actual process. Understand? This is the actual process. This is called the Antarapant. This was done from Swarup Damodar Goswami to Raghunath Das Goswami. Manasiksha is the Antarapant of Raghunuga Southern for the Antarapant, means the internal method. The external method was given by Vikeshwar Pandit to Gopal Guru Goswami, who gave to Dhyanachand Goswami, and they wrote the Bahir Pantha called Gaur Govind Archan Smaran Padati. Understand? So the process, either the external path or the internal path, if you're practicing sincerely, they reveal what is your Swarup. And once your Swarup has some revelation, you keep it in the Ridwa Mandir, and Antra Nishtakalai, Bayalokya Vavihar, you deal with the external world appropriately, and internally you're always situated in that identity. And therefore there is no abhiman within the material world, within false ego. What can taste like the fact you realize who you are? That's why they have no Guru Abhiman. Because if you realize who you are, what can taste on the level of that? And Guru has many, many disciples. That you can compare to, I am so Manjari. You understand? That realization, not that idea, not Kalpana. So nothing can taste like, even the I'm Das of Krishna. If you've truly understood it, nothing can taste like that. You understand? And therefore no other Abhiman can come. So Bayalok Vyavihar, so all my external dealings will be Vyaviharic, means a coin, I'm married, to take care of family, take care of life, do so, this, working, whatever you're doing. But Antra Nishtakara, my actual identity, Das of Krishna, if it's more mature, specificity in Das of Krishna. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Shiva Sanatan Goswami Pada Ki Jai. I didn't get a chance to describe Glory of Mother Mohan. Huh? Oh. Oh.
30 minutes.
Question.
25 minutes.
Okay, I'll leave time for questions. Let me just one thing. In Sanatan Goswami Pad, the deity of Madan Mohan. Why the deity of Madan Mohan is Sambandhagyan Upasan Murti? Because Madan Mohan indicates the ability to break your false ego. If you become attracted to the Harikatha of Hari Guru, of Sadhu Guru, then your attraction to that transcendental form of Cupid will break the abhiman of being attracted to the material world. The essence of the material world is mundane Cupid. The essence of the spiritual world is spoken in Ramananda Samvad. Vrindavane apakrita navina madina madan. Kam Beach, Kam Gayatri, Yandra Upasan. Your Kam Gayatri chanting is to worship Aprakrata Navina Madan, the transcendental ever-fresh Cupid. Ever-fresh here means Anurag. How gopis are worshipping have Anurag. That form of Cupid is your Upasan for those coming in this line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You understand? Having understood that, it will break all of your material abhiman. Therefore, Madan Mohan is the deity that breaks all material abhiman. So it says, Jayatam Surato Pangur. Even though I'm lame, ill-advised, everything else still, what is this? Jayatam Surato Pangur, Mama Mamati, Matsavaswa. Still, I see that actually Madan Mohan, for me, is everything. You understand? whatever my condition, I know that I'm in a condition that's not suitable. Still, my essential identity is I'm the Das of Krishna and Mother Mohan is everything for me. Understand? Then Mother Mohan bestows their mercy. How you can serve me? As Govinda Day and all teachings of Rupa Goswami Pada. Your prayojan is to obtain the service of Radhika Radhadasyam. Ravana Das Goswami is a prayojanacharya. Vila Kushmanjali, all other kinds of writings like this, prayojan granthas for that. And Shishirada Gopinath is prayojan Thakurji. Jai Gaur Prabhodananda Hari Hari Hari.
Okay, so we're talking, you're speaking on this, the response to Kayami, it's Krishna Swarupoy,
Jivir Swarupoy,
Krishna Chidas. But after this, there's a verse that Mahaprabhu is explaining that the experience of this world is like when a king captures somebody and then he like drowns them and then he's like, gives them some breath. So we're getting some breath, some money comes, some girlfriend comes, something comes, we're getting some breath, and then boom, we're getting drowned again. But what is our response to this? Because after we've been captured, we're not going to like learn jujitsu to be like to beat the king. So are we just waiting for Guru to come save us at that point, or?
So the question was, in the interim between having advancement in bhakti and having to deal with the fluctuation of the ups and downs of dealing with material energy, like sometimes you're down, sometimes you're up, how do you deal with that? So, actually, as soon as a person steps into the arena of bhakti, then Guru Kripa is there, or you could not step into bhakti, because everything is a subsidy. Now, what happens is that, by the nature of previous, because two tracks are going on. One is material karmic samskars, and one is bhakti samskars. So those two things are on two separate tracks. They're two different kinds of energy. So what happens is that we're standing in the middle of the rail. And from that position, in the middle of the rail, then we're sometimes getting influenced by the material karmic flow, and sometimes we pick up on our bhakti samskars and trudge along a little bit. It's when we're able to begin to synthesize the external things that's on the material karmic track. As they come closer to the spiritual energy, they become dissipated, and the actual nature of the fact that everything is only Bhagavan and only spiritual, it becomes one track, and you're now on a monorail. You get the analogy? You're now on a monorail. That monorail is of the spiritual energy. This is called Antara Nishtakara. Internally, you're never out of that space. Externally, you're dealing with the world, but you're never out of that space internally. It's only when you leave that space, almost like the Lakshman Rekha. Even though Lakshman Rekha is not in Valmiki Ramayana, you know that? It's in Ramcharitmanas, I believe, but it's not in Valmiki Ramayana. That Ram drew a circle around Sita, told her don't leave. Lakshman, I'm sorry, Lakshman. That's not in Valmiki Ramayana. It's in Ramcharitmanas, maybe, but not in Valmiki Ramayana. But the Upakyan is still there, right? So, that circle is given by Guru. And Guru's given sudden bhajan life. That's the Raksha Rekha. Rekha means like a line, or like a circle, and Raksha means protection. That's it. If you step out of that back onto the material track, then you go down it for some time, and then the impulses of your bhakti samskaras haunt you so much you get back on the other track. And this back and forth is called what? Anishtika Bhakti, Vyuvikalpa, etc. Is that? And then when bhakti becomes nishta, when it becomes situated, right, at that time, nishta opens the portal that ruchi can come. There's some ruchi in every phase, or you wouldn't keep doing it.
Right, just like
but the predominance of the flow of ruchi comes. And in the stage of nishta, the heart is, nishta means nischalaya yasha iti nishta. When the chitta has become placid and calm. So then when you hear Harikatha, then the Harikatha can come onto the chitta, and the Swarup Shakti that's invested in Harikatha takes its effect. And that's what you start to experience when you hear Harikatha. Bhavanti Rit Karana Rasanayakatha. Bhavanti Rit means it manifests, Bhavanti means it manifests in the heart with its effect. What's the effect? Mama Virya. Satam Sangha, Mama Virya. Mama Virya means Krishna Swarup Shakti. In the Samvad or Harikatha, that Swarup Shakti blossoms. Swarup Shakti begins to illuminate the chitta. As the chitta becomes illuminated, everything about yourself, Guru, Bhagavan, everything starts to become illuminated. Two things happen here that are problematic. We don't really surrender, which means we don't give up control. The actual ability to advance in bhakti is determined by the degree of sakshitva. Sakshitva means witnesshood that you develop. If I'm controlling bhakti, even if Swarup Shakti dictates something to me, my mind tells me, oh, I'm fallen, I can't do that. How do you know? Because I'm still a controller. That's essentially what's happening. There's still, I'm in control. So I can't be advanced. So I cannot have realized this. Therefore, we negate it. You understand? The other extreme is, yes, I'm realizing something, and we forcibly impose on bhakti some imaginary idea of I'm this, I'm that, etc. So reposing or imposing both are detrimental to bhakti. So sakshitva means you witness, right? Were we ever the doers of what was going on in material life? It's done by the modes. What were you doing? Witnessing it? You have a desire, the modes play it out, you're looking at it on the TV screen of the chitta. Yeah, that's really some stupid stuff I was doing. Understand? So you're looking at it from witness. So that's proof that we're actually witnessing. When we come to spiritual life, we don't become the controller. We're witnessing now Swarup Shakti working. You understand? So you're witnessing it, and Swarup Shakti is doing everything. It's working the chitta and changing the function of the chitta, etc., etc. And when you witness it, it becomes very amazing. That causes what is called ruchi. That's why the first ruchi is in bhajan. Wow, from Harinam, this thing came, that thing came, this thing came. So you begin to witness the effect of Swarup Shakti. That gives rise to ruchi as a predominant phase called the stage of ruchi. Somebody else had a question? Lalita?
This is speculation on my part, but do you think Sanatan Goswami was in charge of Sambandha Yoga because he Radharaman manifested to him?
No. Radharaman manifested to Gopal Bhatta.
Oh.
Madan Mohan was the deity of Sanatan Goswami. That deity was founded by Vrata Acharya. The Vrata Acharya gave it to a Brahmin family, Dubey family. Sanatan Goswami observed the activities of Madan playing with the son of that Dubey family.
And this was Gopal Bhatta was Radharaman.
Yes, that's what I said.
Is that what she said?
No, she was saying that Gopal, Radharaman manifested Sanatan Goswami. No.
Oh, okay.
So, Sanatan Goswami then saw this deity of Madan Mohan. And then he saw that the lady was cooking for the deity of Madan Mohan. She would take, the neem twig that you clean your teeth with. So she would take the back part of it and stir the khichdi. Put it back in her mouth and everything. So, anyways, but one day they were playing and she called for them to come and eat, and Sanatan Goswami observed this. And he told her, listen, Mata, you cannot serve the Tatajan like this. She says, oh, okay. So then from that time she would take shower first each time. She'd make sure everything was pucka, this thing and that. And in the meantime, she heard the crying of her son and Madan crying because they were so hungry. Oh my, we were so hungry. So Sanatan Goswami realized, then he saw one also pastime, that the son and Madan Mohan used to play together. So one day they were playing, and then they were playing tag. So anyway, Madan Mohan tagged that little boy, and the little boy went to tag him back, and he ran and jumped on the altar, became the deity. He said, no, now you want to cheat, you don't want to play anymore. So now you want to be Thakurji, so forth, so on. So like this, so he observed these things, But then he came in a dream, and Madan Mohan wanted to take the service of Sanatan Goswami.
Wow.
So then, long story short, he ended up with that deity, then he ended up building the temple of Madan Mohanji, and he gave over to one disciple to do the seva of Madan Mohanji.
That's amazing.
Ishwar Parishad, your question?
Jai, Hare Krishna.
Hari
You
Bol.
gave the example of witnessing. Is witnessing the same as having choice?
Yeah, witnessing here means, just like in the material world, the jivas are really not the doers. They're witnessing the actions of the modes of nature. But they think they're the doer. in the spiritual energy, you're performing the angas of bhakti, but actually the efficacy and the power to perform those things is coming from the internal energy or spiritual energy called Swarup Shakti. So actually when the devotee takes the position of witnessing, they don't, because a lot of devotees think, I'm doing bhakti. I'm chanting 64 rounds. I'm following Ekadasi, I don't eat, I don't drink, I try not to breathe, etc. Understand? So devotees have the mood, I'm doing bhakti. And because I'm doing bhakti, I'm the karna, I'm the cause of what's happening, and I'm the doer, so I will enjoy the fruit of bhakti. We'll come back to it. But this mood is not the mood of seva. So what do? You aspire. Right? Therefore, all of the bhajans of our acharyas, that are lalasmayi bhajans, means desire bhajans for perfection. Kabe, habe, oh, when will you show your mercy to me? Kada, kalisha sihamam, kripa, takshavat, when will you give me your mercy? So they're witnessing that bhakti is allowing them to serve, and now they're witnessing and praying for when the mercy of that bhakti will become full. If you think I'm doing bhakti, you'll think that I have control over bhakti. But bhakti is independent. You understand? Bhakti is independent. But this is what I was saying earlier, the danger of false egoism is that it comes into the arena of bhakti also. That's when you get devotees thinking, yes, I've been doing bhakti for 50 years. I've been doing bhakti 50 years. And then they say, and what I've realized is, I don't realize anything. Now that's a good start. That's a good start. That's a good start. But you'll have to then, in that kind of humility, realize, oh, I need to take shelter of sadhu. And by the mercy of sadhu, the potency of Swarup Shakti will come, and it's Swarup Shakti that's giving me illumination. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur said in Harinam that all the power to reveal your spiritual identity is there. So if you will chant Harinam sincerely, being surrendered, Harinam will reveal because it's composed of Swarup Shakti. Right? Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Russa Vigraha Punasara Nityamukto Abhinatam Namnani. It's not different. So Radha Krishna or that name, they will reveal to you your Swarup.
Hari Hari Bol. Hari Krishna.
What time?
Guru Puja.
Oh, Guru Puja.
No, with the Guru Puja.
Because the time, yeah.
Yeah, we do now.
All right.
Offering
No,
is
it's
late.
okay.
We can do it here.
Yeah, but
Offering is late.
Yeah, it's okay.
Like
How many people you got to do the Guru Puja?
Yeah, we have like
Are you doing Pushpanjali everything?
Yeah, we do Pushpanjali.
Yeah, so we can start now. All right. Guru Premanande. Alright, for the devotees on the phone conference, or the Zoom here, my Dhanavad Pranam, Vacha Katurmasya, today is Guru Purnima, so all of those you should just do some pranam, and if you have any flowers or anything, you can offer it, because today is Guru Purnima. Alright, Hari Bol, Jai, Radhe Radhe.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Oh, no, thank you. No incense.
Okay.
My needs?
No, I'm just saying. Oh.
Oh, in the those, because these bodies that are starting to go here. Rather than for somebody else. Rather than I'll be there.
Are you planning on coming to the Harinam? Okay. I'll add you, but my request is that no chatter, just very specific at Harinam, because it's an open chat. Okay? So it's only about that, but I'll add you. Hopefully we'll start going out again soon. We took a break for a little while. But now as we get more people are back in town, and we're going to start going again soon.
It's just a
Yeah, we'll get here and then we'll chat. It'll be interesting.
This is how something works.
Yes.
Yeah, it's how something works.
No.
The next Saturday.
And that's where they have
Yeah.
In my house.
Yeah, I want to do it myself.
Let's do it. And you wanted to plan some
Or something.
but I want
Whatever. Yeah.
No, we have to.
Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sarna Giant bunny?
Yes. So you do now? Or Archie is up?
Is he gonna right back out? Oh, there it is.
Are we gonna move all this or?
It's okay, Archie. All right.
Josh is.
Where's the?
Jai Sri Goswami ki Jai. Jai. Yeah.
श्री राधे गोविंद जी की जय। गौर हरि की जय। यशोमति नंदन ब्राजवरना यशोमति नंदन राजवरा
Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Nitya Leela Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Sri Srimad Bhakti Began Bharati Maharaja Ki
Jai.
Nitya Leela Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Sri Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Goswami Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Nitya Leela Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Sri Srimad Acharya Keshari Bhakti Pragyan Keshari Goswami Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Nitya Leela Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Sri Srimad Bhakti Rasakshila Goswami Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Nitya Leela Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Sri Srimad Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Nitya Leela Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Sri Srimad Bhakti Vibhav Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki Nitya Leela Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Sri Srimad Bhakti Daita Madhava Maharaj Ki Nitya Leela Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Sri Srimad Bhakti excuse me, Bhakti Sri Siddhanti Maharaj Ki Prabhupada Supadikar Ki Nitya Leela Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Sri Srimad Jagat Varanyam Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Yati Raj Ki Mahabhagavata Shulagwa Kishore Swami Maharaj Ki Satyam Goswami Rupa Nuga Sesra Saksharananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Vaishnava Sabhabam Jagannath Das Swami Maharaj Ki Vedanta Acharya Baladeva Devotional Prabhu Ki Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur Ki Venadatam Srinivasa Mananda Prabhu Traya Ki Shri Krishna Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sahib Goswami Prabhu Ki Sanatan Goswami Ki Shri Rup Today also Shri Prabhodananda Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Shri Guru Panim Ki Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandi Gaura Purishara Vrind Ki Ramacharya Harirasta Kaur Ki Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrind Ki Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Ravindam Ki Shri Satradam Ki Bangladesh Bhadri Shurasham Chakadi Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Prantam Ki Shri Radha Govinda Ratya Yatra Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavin Ki Samagata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Govinda
Hare Krishna, thank you. It's nice to see all the beautiful devotees here. Mukunda Prabhu, thank you for such a beautiful, practical, deep Hare Katha. Okay. And just wanted to let everybody know this piece is not sponsored, so please, we welcome your donation. We just suggest $7 per plate.
1 second. How much is if you sponsor the whole thing?
Sponsor the whole thing? 200.
Okay, done.
Jai. Jai. Very nice. And what was I going to say? You may have noticed that the temple room is looking particularly beautiful.
Yes.
And the temple grounds as well. So the temple residents have been extremely busy doing the garden, doing the painting. Sahadev was up till 1 a.m. last night doing this beautiful painting. Sita so incredibly gorgeous. And she's also doing the cushions, and of course, Govinda Prabhu is always doing so many things. He's, I can't even list all the things. But, and then Jayadev Prabhu and Sahadev Prabhu are also doing so much in the garden. So please take a walk around and look around. It's really amazing what they're doing. So thank you all so much for your careful care of the temple here. We're all so grateful.
Yes, I will. How you want us to transfer PayPal?
You can do PayPal or cash, whatever. PayPal is easiest. There's a code you can scan.
Okay.
So I asked him if he could put them on the so he did send me a thing that text so you know how are you, Sean? So he did the collaboration. So he sent me the climax. So he said he may have to land one after another. Yes. That was good. Yeah, it's like me. This guy, it's called High Road. He has one more. His name is Tirtha. I was wondering who was like that. Okay. So he contacted me.
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, has to be.
Oh, they just did. No, I can't read. No. Yeah, so he's thinking about uploading one after the other.
Yeah.
Because
right now there's just on this side.
Yeah, he gets contact.